Let's
Dude,
do a rankings breakdown.
The fridge is actually in the other room. I'm separated now.
Oh, dang. Okay. Well, Pick North Fantasy Football Crew. Thank you for hopping on this video call. This is your 2-time former champion, King Lupus, and my co-host, Huge Ass, the other 2-time champion. We wanted to do.
I was closer to 3 than you were, though, so far.
That is true. It is really a race to see who gets 3. But we have an incredible guest today, Kyle Jamison. Kyle, what's up? Our newest league member.
Fellas, happy to be here.
How many times have you got the Alfred Blue so far, KJ?
How many times have I what?
Oh, won the league.
Oh man, that's a whopping 0 times, and I think that's not going to change this year, unfortunately. But we'll see here in maybe 5 years. Maybe I'll be able to host the pod. I don't know.
Yeah, R.I.P. to Danny. But league mates, me and Nick kind of had a dream that we wanted to bring some more fun, camaraderie, and just some fellowship into the league. So there's a few things that we're doing on this episode. We're going to be talking about preseason rankings, kind of see when everyone's at. But before we jump in, I did want to do some life updates with Nick and KJ. So, Nick, what's going on with your life?
My life?
Yeah, you've got some big stuff happen.
Yeah, so I live in Chicago, Illinois. Not sure if everyone knew that. I found out by Mulch calling me that not everyone knew that. So Allison got a promotion with Aldi, and so we moved to a town in Chicagoland called Lombard, Illinois, and pretty cool. We bought a house. I just got furniture delivered. Got a cool couch that was on clearance. It doesn't have bed bugs as far as I know, so that's good. I'll be starting international friendships in Chicago. I'll be the boss. I've been interviewing people, which is pretty wild.
Dude,
not sure if
crazy.
I'm qualified for that. So, yeah.
I didn't know you were the boss.
Yeah, I'm the boss. I'm the ministry leader of Chicago. Not just of IFI, of all ministries in Chicago. I'm the ministry leader.
How's that been going? Have you been meeting people yet? Like actual students and stuff?
I met one student. He's an Indian student going to University of Illinois, Chicago. His name's Saket. And he is the first and only international student I've met. I've also only been on campus one time, so my goal was to meet one guy. But I've been connecting with different international student ministry people here, and there's a girl who is going to Wheaton College that wants to possibly work for IFI in the future, so connecting with her and interviewing people and trying to raise support right now. So, yeah.
If you could compare her to any fantasy football team in her league, who would she be like?
Oh, let me think. Probably, who's the hardest person to get a hold of, you think? Because she is impossible to connect with. Let's think. Motz can be hard sometimes. Kelso is just straight impossible to connect with. So I would say she's like Kelso and his team. We got a lot of potential. Good team. But if you want to make a trade with her, it's just not going to happen.
That's tough for Kelso hearing that he's below Motz in terms of able to reach. But I'm sorry,
Motz is also sometimes hard to reach.
Yeah, but I hope this is a wake-up call for Kelso in a way, you know?
I mean, Kelso is a first responder, so hopefully he can
this is true,
up his game on
I'll just start calling 911 or the non-emergency in Hilliard or wherever he is.
So Nick, we'll be praying for you, man. That's a big move.
Thank you.
And we'll be praying for the one guy you met, Saket, right?
Saket, yes. And pray for my last not last night, Monday night, we kind of had a goodbye party, a send-off party in Athens with all of our international friends, and so it was really cool. Got to give one of my closest friends a Bible in Bangla, which he's from Bangladesh, so in his native language, and it's kind of a cool moment, and it was really fun. People gave us gifts and like wrote us lots of letters and stuff about how they're gonna miss us and how much impact we had. So it was really cool, and it's been really hard and bittersweet because it's exciting what I'm gonna be doing, and it's exciting for Allison too. But it's hard to leave all the international students that I was getting so close with, and all these Muslim friends that I have now that don't know Jesus, but like I was the only Christian they were friends with, and the other guy that's kind of taking over for me now in Athens, he just like reminded me that I'm not saying that I am these people, but like Paul and Jesus and Philip, like they all left thriving or flourishing ministries to go start new ones. And so, yeah, prayers for Athens and for this new chapter, and just specifically for my Muslim friends in Athens to encounter another Christian and to get to hear about Jesus from them.
Yeah. That is a cool reminder, and always keep in the forefront of my mind, because I think that is very bittersweet, right? Because you were there for 13 months, like when you started it, right? 13, 14 months.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, KJ, any life updates for you?
So I mean, not super recently. I mean, last 6 months. I don't know if everybody knew this. I got married in January, moved to Pickerington in January, which has been really, really fun. So my wife and I have been out here for about, I guess, 7 months now. So it's been really exciting. We're pretty involved with a church called Maranatha, which has been really, really, really fun for us to enjoy fellowship together and to find community there together. So that's been pretty fun. I've still been leading Young Life, although that's coming to a close pretty soon. I'm actually giving my last campaigners on the 13th
Is this
of September.
breaking news?
No, maybe breaking news to some people, but like all the team knows and stuff. So it's been a little bit coming. So we're excited for that. It's definitely sad, but also at this point, it's time for me, and it'll be a lot of fun for Nikki and I to find ways to do ministry together, and also to free me up to spend more time with her, and then also just be able to do stuff together and pray about like ministry opportunities together, and to be able to invest in places like the workplace, stuff like that.
It is a weird thing, man. Doing ministry at work is really interesting.
It is, yeah. I've just seen like so many opportunities though, where it's like if I didn't have campaigners or club or just all these other commitments, it's just like I could do some things, you know.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's good. Well, guys, thank you for the life updates.
Any life updates from the newly married man, Shar?
Yeah, sure.
I am newly married. Grace and I just celebrated our 2-week anniversary on Saturday.
Let's go.
I almost forgot. But no, it's been really fun. It has been such an odd year or so of engagement, because I feel like I was like spread really, really thin. But now I would say life is consolidated a bit, right? Like married, I don't have to. It's odd. It's like I feel like I'm giving more time to Grace, but it's a lot easier since I don't have to like leave my house and commit as much time. There's little pockets throughout the day where I'm like, okay, how can I love, serve her, take care of her? So It's been a little bit more, but it's a lot easier. Other than that, we kick back up. I do a gym Bible study Thursday mornings. That's been super fun. There's this one guy, Craig, and that's a dude I've been praying for a ton. It's really funny. He's like 37 years old. And he's really starting to get the gospel a little bit. And he's feasting on the word. So that's been really fun. I do a podcast.
Was he at your wedding?
He couldn't make it. make it. But yeah, he was invited. I do a podcast with two of my dear friends as well, where we kind of interview people from our gym, and that's been really, really fun as well. And that's just been like my ministry, right? I do want to this upcoming season dive a little bit deeper with that, but other than that, Grace and I are starting going to a life group for the first time Thursday, so
That's cool.
I'm excited for
Nice.
that.
Yeah.
Is David in it?
No, he's not. It's gonna be Patrick Zimmer is actually the one that leads it.
That's cool.
So yeah, he's the youth guy, the youth pastor over at Life Point. So other than that,
Wait,
it's been
so
really chill.
are you gonna have more time on your hands?
I would say I definitely have a little bit more time on my hands, but I'm it's going to be interesting. I think next spring, end of like mid-December. Well, actually, sorry. Next year from January through April, Grace will be gone for field work in Cincinnati. So I will have a bunch of free time. Maybe I don't know.
I was just curious if you're gonna join my Dungeons and Dragons again.
I mean, I would, but I actually have been dropping the ball on that. So
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, that's my life updates. So
all right, let's get into it.
Let's get into the preseason rankings.
Let's
KJ,
your team is horrible.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
So
we
I will
expected
say-
it to be though. Let's be honest here.
I will
Like
say
KJ,
Nick and I.
when was KJ's first pick?
209.
Your first pick was when?
I was gonna say
209.
Okay,
but
let me
no. I was
share
just
my screen.
I was just gonna say, how is KJ? But Ben,
Nick, are you still there?
Yeah,
I
Nick's
just
breaking
got-
up a little bit.
So let's take a look at KJ's team real quick.
All right, let's take a
can you
look.
hear me?
Now
Yeah,
we can
hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, cool.
All right, here's the thing. I broke down rankings in 3 tiers, okay? I think tier 1 is like top tier. Tier 2 is like you're right there fighting for playoff contention. Tier 3, you're middle of the pack. You've kind of got to make some moves here. Tier 4, you're just absolutely horrible. There's only one person in tier 4, and that is actually let's go to Ben's team first. I mean tier 4.
I was gonna
Ben's
say, is
team
tier 4 me or Ben? Because
Ben's team is absolutely horrendous. You
Okay,
guys'
cool.
thoughts?
I was gonna say we're about to have a disagreement if it's not Ben.
What are you guys' thoughts on Ben's team?
I mean, theoretically, his team could be phenomenal.
Oh, you could say that about any team.
Yeah. But yeah, not sure.
I
I'll
honestly
be curious. Go ahead.
I honestly think Ben's team is actually like his quarterback situation not great. It's been fun watching him send some trade offers with Bryce Young because I mean,
The most exciting player on his roster.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I will say the one star in Ben's team is Damian Pierce, and I guess Mark Andrews as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mark Andrews.
If
Mark
this was
Andrews,
last year,
yeah, he'll
Ben's
be
team
good,
would be really good if this was last year. Like besides Rashad White, Zeke
except for
Elliott up
Juju.
there. Well, yeah. I mean,
I don't know, man. I think you're forgetting how disappointing Michael Pittman Jr. was last year.
for sure. I'm just saying, like Kyler Murray, very good.
Sure, yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, I totally forgot Kyler was there. Yeah.
Bryce Young, he was super good at Alabama. I'm not sure if he's going to be as good for the Panthers.
The NFL.
Yeah.
You know who was
So
not as good
Ben-
when he left Alabama? Mac Jones.
That's also true.
So Ben
Could be
is firmly
following a pattern
planted
here.
in
Yep.
tier 4. No doubt about it. Ben, you've got to make some moves to make something something happens so you're not making semi-nude calendars.
Yeah,
this year.
especially with his quarterbacks. Like, I mean, there's a chance Rashad White does really well. Hopefully, Deebo Samuel and Mike Evans and Mark Andrews don't take a little bit of a slump of a year, and hopefully they're as good as they always are. But there's some question marks around their teams. His bench and his quarterbacks, he's got some issues there.
Yeah, for sure. I think I have the next tier being tier 3. KJ, Biddies, you're also in this tier 3 slot. Peter and Motz. The first team I got pulled up here is KJ. You do have a lot of upside on your team, I will say, KJ. You drafted strictly upside, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, maybe with the exception of like the Brian Robinson pick or the DK pick. Yeah, I would agree.
I don't know, man. I feel like DK is actually one of the higher upside guys on your team. Like, I think Geno's legit. And with Jackson Smith and Jigba having that wrist injury, like, these first few weeks might be explosive.
Right, yeah. It is funny, though. Did you see the news that JSN is probably going to play week 1?
I did not, no.
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting that either. And when I made the DK pick, the line of thought was, this will bridge me to where JSN is healthy and we can reevaluate there. But now, a little trickier. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, your quarterbacks there's a chance that your quarterbacks keep you in every single game, depending on how much Anthony Richardson gets to run and how amazing Trevor Lawrence is, like, of what they say he is going to be this year. And P. Ryan, I think P. Ryan is a good pick. I'm not sure about Brian Robinson Jr. DK and Keenan, I'm very intrigued to see what happens. And then hopefully Ayuk and Watson and Kirk and Smith and Jigba, like, those guys hopefully are really good this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. We're pinning all our hopes on the quarterbacks with this one.
But I mean, the quarterbacks will give you a nice floor. And
yeah,
I think you'll be surprised. There'll be some games where one of us eats absolute trash. So,
besides your running backs, though, I'm so excited to see your team. Like, I think your team might be super fun, depending on how good, like, Watson and Kirk and Smith and Jigba and Ayuk are. But
yeah,
I think, like, if Trevor Lawrence is as good as people think he's going to be this year, and Anthony Richardson is even anywhere near what the Colts think he's going to be, you could score 60 points with just those two guys.
I think there was a point during KJ's draft where you had 5 wide receivers and 0 running backs.
This is correct, yes.
I feel like your running backs are not in a bad situation going 0 RB. So.
Also, we have to shout out, he drafted Trey Wilson. So, I mean, like,
Trey Wilson.
His team is set up for success next year.
Oh, yeah. Dude, watch the Trey Benson highlights, man. If you want to bring him down, you better bring your friends.
Who's Trey Benson?
It's quite that's the guy I actually drafted.
Oh, you mean Trey Wilson?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Pretty sure on the back of his jersey it says Benson. Could be wrong.
I've heard it both ways.
All right, let's
quick
move
side
on here.
note. I don't know the Microsoft team said our meeting is going to expire in 5 minutes, so I don't know what that means. But
I think you're good.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Next on the ballot here is Nick's team, another tier 3. Nick, how are you feeling about your team?
My team is boom or bust. Like, my team could be really good, actually. Not a whole lot of running back depth, but depending on, like, all these guys are just so unknown. They're all either new to their situation or, like, have a new X factor in their situation. So, like, Devontae Adams and Calvin Ridley, both really, really good guys. Same with Aaron Jones, but who knows? And then guys like Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Jamal Williams, Khalil Herbert, Jordan Love. Like, I just don't like. They could be amazing, or they could not be great.
I mean, your whole bench is the same way, right? Like Romeo
Yeah.
Dobbs, Deuce Vaughn, Deion Jackson now with the JT News, Marvin Mims. Like,
Right.
I mean,
But I
you
do have the 49ers and Justin Tucker, so I'm hoping they'll take me away.
you talk about a solid floor. I don't know, man. I actually do think your team is literally just boom or bust.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I always think it's funny, and I've said this to a couple of people, but I always feel weird when I walk away from a fantasy draft without anybody like on a contending team or in a good offense. And when I look down this roster, it's just like, oh man, Green Bay, Vegas, Jacksonville,
100%.
Atlanta,
Chicago. Yeah.
man. Just like
Yeah, not great.
your best offense is Kansas City, and it's Sky Moore, and Sky Moore's. I mean, what are we really expecting from him this year, other than maybe a fringe wide receiver 3 performance?
100%.
Let's take a look at
My biggest goal of the draft was Marvin Harrison Jr., and I got him, and I reached for him a little bit, I think, but I think I'm playing for next year and not to make a nude calendar.
where did you draft him at?
The 9th round.
I feel like that's solid.
I don't think that's a reach.
Yeah,
I like to.
I don't. Marvin's worth it. Marvin's worth it first.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
I hope so. What if I did just draft him my first pick?
You wouldn't be hearing me calling it a reach.
You would
Not
you'd be on tier 4 then. That's what we're calling.
All right, who are we at
next? Next up is Peter's team, and this is what I mean. Like Peter's team is actually like really solid.
Yeah, this is the product of drafting a good Debbie, right? Because Jahmyr Gibbs just right in the middle of that lineup is woof, just gasoline.
It really is.
He's got a lot of dudes people are fading though, so I'm very intrigued to see what happens. Like, yeah, I mean, just unsure about Tua. Eric's in a new situation. Unsure about DeAndre Hopkins.
Peter's got a good mix of safety and explosion, right? Like I do think like Najee will provide a solid floor of volume. I think Pacheco will. He's sort of in a weird spot. Pacheco, just like I do think he's the number one guy. I really do, and I think there's some volume there for him in a safety net. Like he's a good flex option. Who knows with Dalton Schultz? I think I have been burned incredibly bad by Detroit running backs, so screw them.
Yes, you have.
I have badly. D-Hop, I mean, you talk about he's not going to be a boom player at all. He's just going to be the wide receiver one in the Titans, receiving volume. Peter's got a good mix of people, I think.
Right.
So.
Yeah. No, I think Peter's team's not bad. I think he won't win, but he's got a good team, I think.
He can easily bump up into tier 2. So let's see. Next and last person on tier 3, Chris Motz, aka Chase Tipstord. He's the guy that drafted for Motz, and I feel like he did a solid job. So
yeah, man, I agree. I think.
What do you guys think of Motz's team?
I think this is one of the more exciting quarterback situations, really. If you look at Daniel Jones and Justin Fields and just think about rushing floor, it's exciting stuff, man, and it'll keep him in a lot of games when other people just have bad weeks. I don't think Chris is ever going to really have a horrible week just because of those two, if they can stay healthy.
And honestly, like Barkley, like I'm really high on Barkley this year. Just the Giants in general. I feel like people are getting really excited about the Giants. And then also he's got guys on his bench like Kamara coming back. I do think Kamara's still the guy. Like Jordan Addison, like I think he's going to be a great second, like second half player in the season. Like he's going to come in and basically destroy KJ Osborne. So
the biggest issue with Motz's team is that he doesn't have a number one receiver. I love all of his receivers. Like legit, I really think all of his receivers are really good, but none of them are the number one guy on their team, which is kind of wild that he doesn't have one number one receiver.
Hey,
I mean, I
guess away, man.
Mike Williams, like he could technically be the number one. Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, but
I think Motz is in a position to like he could easily be tier 2 for sure.
And I would agree.
I think we'll see that as a trend for the rest of these guys that we look at. Like everyone's in kind of like the middle of the road. It's literally like who's gonna win some of these like toss-up calls with these players?
Well, what I texted you, Shar, like literally so many teams could either be really good or really bad or just okay because there's so like the league changed up so much this year and there's so many unknowns. Not our league, but the NFL league changed up this year. And so like guys with like Kenneth Walker, like he's amazing, but then the Seahawks drafted Charbonnet.
Yeah, Zach Charbonnet.
And so, like, how is that going to play out? There's just so many weird scenarios.
Yeah, this year in the NFL, it's like a huge changing of the guard, right? Like, so speaking of changing the guard, Mulch was set up this year to go from Sacco to champion.
Oh, poor Mulch.
Slight hiccup.
Yeah, Bijan, JT, 3 first-round picks.
I mean, his team is still really good, but the JT news is a little unfortunate. I did send him a trade offer, and he is yet to respond. But I think it could help him.
A trade offer, no response.
Including JT or no? Are you willing to divulge?
I was actually giving him some running back depth because really, I'm going to be honest. When Javonte slots in as a second running back, he's got AJ Dillon and Jerome Ford. So that's not that's not great.
Hey, I like Jerome Ford. I think that's a good pick. But point taken.
Yeah, but he's got good depth at the wide receiver. Like I actually do like Jonathan Mingo. Like watching him during preseason was really fun. If you guys watch his preseason games. So
I think Nico Collins is going to be really good this year. I think that's a good pick too.
Is he the wide receiver 1?
Yeah, he is.
I mean, they don't really.
I mean, it's number 10.
He's at the top of the depth chart, but
yeah. I do think it is a bummer that he has Terry McLaurin. I think Terry McLaurin, he's going to have a rocky for like start of the year. Stephon Diggs, I mean, it's Stephon Diggs. Like that will be the foundation. Him, Hurts, and Bijan, I think could easily carry Mulch.
And Kelsey.
Oh yeah, and Kelso. Like easily carry Mulch to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mulch. I'm sorry about JT, man, but now you can trade with a bunch of people. So yeah. Let's take a look at our commissioner himself. Let's take a look at Joe's team. What do you guys think?
I mean, Joe's team, I think, is pretty darn good.
Yeah, not a ton of dislike here.
Yeah, I think his team could be really good, depending on like what Tyler Lockett and J.K. Dobbins, Treylon Burks, Sam Howell, like what they are like. But
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much we can count on Treylon this year just with the injury news, but yeah, I mean the Jared Goff and Monroe St. Brown stack, I'm a believer. I think that's dangerous.
It is a very nice stack.
Yeah, the only things there are a couple things I don't love. Like, how do you guys feel about J.K. Dobbins and Greg Dulcich?
So those are the 3 guys. Yeah, J.K., Greg, and Alexander Madison actually as well for me. I think those are the 3 question marks on the team. Don't get me wrong, I like J.K., but I could also just see Gus Edwards like eating up half the work. Alexander Madison. Oh yeah, and Lamar, right? And I think the Vikings kind of turn a new page with their offense. I think they go pass heavy this year. I think.
Oh yeah, we saw that last year.
Yeah, I think over unders right now for Kirk Cousins is he's going to be taking the what was the line that I saw? It was like over under what was it, like 4,000 passing yards or something for Kirk Cousins. And it's like him, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen are the only guys that have that high of a passing yard total.
Wow.
So those are the 3 question marks. But other than that, I mean, so far Joe has been the only team that I think is like has some steady footing.
Yeah. I love Amon-Ra, love CMC. I think Devontae Smith is a baller.
Oh, dude, I'm interested to see how the Eagles play out this year. And I'm interested to see if Devontae will actually step up and kind of fight A.J. Brown for that key role. So
yeah, the offensive distribution will be interesting. I definitely think the Eagles take at least a step back as a team, but who's to say that'll actually affect the fantasy output? Well, you think they're going to be better than they were last year?
I don't know, man. They could.
I feel like we've seen the ceiling of Jalen Hurts. I don't know, but he's getting much better than what he was last year.
That's fascinating.
I think they should just do their QB sneak every single play.
They really could.
Yeah,
they would get 4 yards every time.
Hop on Jason Kelsey's back and just ride him. Oh, actually, yeah. Let's look at Luke's team first. That's not Luke. I've been talking a lot of trade to Luke. I actually really, really think Luke's team is solid. Like,
yeah, I think Luke's team is very good.
Yeah, Luke's team is very solid. Like two really good running backs in Eckler, Pollard. That's kind of his baseline, right? Like, other than that, he has no other running back floor. Like, I actually think DeAndre Swift is going to be horrible this year.
Really? Shar, you love DeAndre Swift.
No,
you've just been burned by him so hard.
I've been burned by him and by
Swift made the team.
Yeah.
Poor DeAndre Swift. He went from riches to rags
so quickly.
Have you guys seen the Eagles depth chart and how they list out their running backs?
Yeah, it's
just a bunch of it's DeAndre Swift / Kenneth Gainwell / Rashad Penny / I can't even tell you who the other guy is. Bryce Sermon was on there for a second.
Where's Boston Scott though?
I think he's there. I think he's right next to him in no particular order.
I think Luke's running backs are phenomenal. He needs running back depth. Like, one thing happens to Tony Pollard's last year's injury, Austin Eckler being the kind of getting a little bit older now.
Yeah, very true.
So, and then he's got like literally a billion wide receivers, and the only one with Garrett Wilson, I think, will be phenomenal this year. Other than that,
I hope so.
A lot of question marks at wide receivers. So
yeah, very true. And I love TJ Hawkinson, but I'm not convinced about anybody other than Justin Jefferson and maybe Jordan Addison on the Vikings offense. I just think Justin Jefferson is too good not to throw to him every time. I'm not sure how much Hawkinson is going to get.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I think Hawkinson will be he has more time now. Like, he actually has a full season now to play with the team. He had a whole off season to practice, get some time in. He'll be a key role when they come into the red zone.
Yeah,
we'll see.
He's a weird looking dude.
Yeah, he
kind of looks like he's sick all the time. He also has huge ears.
He actually looks like a Viking.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is
good he plays on a football team where he wears a helmet. He's not a good-looking fellow.
This is the last team in Tier 2. This is my brother's team, Sam. I think Sam's team's actually really legit. I would even question Sam's team being the third best team. What do you guys thoughts?
I'm not sure. In my eyes, I see Sam's team like it's really good name-wise, but I'm worried about Stevenson and Breece Hall just because of the guys that came in. And, like, obviously Dalvin Cook and Zeke are not the same that they used to be, but yeah, I'm just not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just so hard to say if a team's good or not based on how good their running backs are, just because of how common running back injuries are compared to any other position, really.
And Sam does have really good depth at the running back position.
Yeah, that's true.
He does.
Yeah, he does have good options.
So with that being said, I think when you see the rest of the roster being Mahomes, Lamb, Waddle, there's a lot to be excited about. But
For
Yeah.
sure.
And as a guy who does own stock of Breece Hall and Dynasty, it's a nervous time.
But he's
not been
so
fun.
good.
Nick,
Is.
I think last year when I talked to
When
you
he's
about,
healthy.
sorry, go ahead, KJ.
No, that was it. Just he's good when he's healthy.
I think last year, Nick, when I told you on your championship run, you were sold on just going all in on high end key players. But I think I told you from me, depth is what wins the championship. And I think that's what Sam has. Like Sam, I think has probably the best depth in any team so far.
Yeah,
So
very true.
He'll be able to sustain the season well.
If the guys who are on his team are as good as they were last year or better than they were last year, my gosh, his team is going to be insane.
Yeah.
Like Jalen Waddle alone can score half the points you need for a win, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
I love Antonio Gibson. I wish he gets a shot, like to just, I don't know, with.
You think this is the year?
No.
I don't know. I just think he's so good, and if he got a shot, like he could easily be a bell cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think he's really good. He's really good at fumbling the ball. All right, let's move on.
That's fair.
I think
but Brian Robinson legit runs about 5 miles per hour.
No argument here, man.
Root for him.
He's the next Ben Jarvis Green Ellis in that he gets carries for I don't know why.
Kelso's team. I think Kelso is one quarterback away from being top tier. Like, I mean, from being truly unstoppable.
Yeah,
but he has Colt McCoy.
You mean the now free agent Colt McCoy?
Colt McCoy.
Why would you need anybody else other than Colt McCoy?
And then who is Jared Pinkney? What is that?
I think he was Jared Pinkney. Was he a Purdue tight end a couple of years ago?
I don't even know who that is.
I'm assuming he was a tight end out of Purdue.
I'm assuming that Joe just added Jared Pinkney.
Oh, for
right?
his Devy player. Yeah. His Devy player.
Okay.
No, yeah,
that's
he was definitely just a roster ad to get him on there.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I am playing this team in week 1, and I've already chalked it up to a loss. I think you don't need to look too much further down than the first 2 players there to really have a reason to believe in this team.
The 2 people that I'm really interested to see what happens is actually DJ Moore and Gabe Davis. I don't know what to think of DJ Moore. I love Gabe, man, but
Gabe.
He was so one game, does an 80-yard touchdown, and the next game catches 1 reception for 5 yards and calls it a day.
Very, very Mike Williams-esque.
Yeah, and it's not fun to have.
Yeah.
Like, not fun to have at all.
Yeah, but he was hurt all last year.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. I think that's why he's interesting, right? It's like this is the year for Gabe Davis to take another step up. But I don't know, man. Like Josh Allen has literally a whole buffet of people to feed at that team. Like he can literally do whatever he wants. I don't know. Like I don't know if he's gonna be able to get the target share. So yeah.
DJ Moore, not because I'm in Chicago or anything now, but I'm super hopeful for the Bears. I just want to see them be good. They could be good. I don't know if necessarily they should be, but I don't know. I hope they're good. So I hope it's a good pick and a good person to have on his team.
I think if Justin Fields takes the step up to actually throwing the football, DJ Moore's in.
Do you guys think Kelso drafted DJ Moore just to have a share of Chicago?
I don't know. Does Kelso like Chicago?
Not to take a dig at Kelso, but I think Kelso sees the best person available on a draft board, and he takes that person. Maybe that's not true. Kelso, you can berate me for that. Maybe that's not true.
He had a phenomenal draft order this year. Like he had really good picks this year. So, and I mean, he kept Jamar Chase in the third. So I mean, that is huge.
Yes,
that's literally the anchor of his team. So, I think this is the team that I need to keep the most eye on because I think Kelso is my biggest competitor. And then we have Lucas himself, King Lupus.
The biggest challenge for Kelso is if he makes moves. I think I just feel like Kelso never makes any trades, and that could seriously hurt his team.
Hey, dude, that's the thing that I've told Motz. I was like, Motz, if you would have made a trade last year, you would have won.
His team would have been really good.
What's crazy is I literally still have a screenshot of this text with Kelso. About 2 years ago, we're at a men's overnight when they, it's the one where they do the camping one now over in Grady's high school or whatever.
Yeah, when Ben told Grandpa that he has a problem with birds of prey.
Yes. But I told Kelso, I was like, dude, you need to get rid of the Chargers wide receivers. This is when he had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and they were going nuclear 2 years ago. I'm not sure if you guys remember that in the beginning of the season. I said, give me one of them. It'll help you with being less all in on one, just the Chargers offense. He wouldn't trade him, and I gave him a fair offer. And then literally 2 weeks later, they imploded. And I think if Kelso is proactive this year and makes trades and is on it, I think he wins the league. Same thing with Motz. I think Motz could easily have a playoff push, but he's got to step away from his PTSD of, getting trade raped. So, yeah.
That's invalid.
Guys, where do you think my team's at? Where do I need to grow?
Yeah, man, your team is just not great. I think you have too many good players. I think that's the issue.
I think if my team were set back in 2021, I would frickin' destroy this league.
Well, that's very true. You would have the best team times a million. Yeah. But still, I think all those guys are still so good. And obviously there's question marks with a handful of them, Kupp, Mixon, Henry, but and Godwin and James Conner and Jerry Jeudy. But I mean, your team's so good.
It's really good. I mean, you're just hoping that the injury bug doesn't come for these older guys, right? That's the main thing. I feel like Darren Waller is pretty susceptible. Cooper Kupp, obviously, all of last year was horrendous. James Conner has had a lot of years in the league, a lot of wear and tear.
Yep.
Derrick Henry's a mutant. I will never say that he will get hurt. I just don't think it'll happen. But yeah, I mean, you're putting a lot of faith in a couple quarterbacks with new situations that we haven't exactly seen do it where they're at. So I think if this team is going to fail in this year, then that's probably the main cause. But I don't think you should expect that.
Your team is
My core-
oddly similar to my team last year, and you saw how I got screwed by people sitting because they're stars and they don't need to play if they don't need to. And that's honestly, I think, your biggest obstacle is at the end of the year if they're going to play or not.
Yeah, very, very much so. But I think for my team, the two people that I'm looking out most for is definitely the quarterback situation. I'm excited for Rodgers, man. I think people are sleeping on Rodgers.
Have you been watching Hard Knocks?
Bro, I have.
It's kind of
It
fun.
it is
I've
fun.
always loved Aaron Rodgers. I've watched him on Pat McAfee and stuff this past 2 years, and I think he's so fun. And watching him on Hard Knocks gets me so excited for the Jets.
It gets you a hard knocker.
No, but yeah.
Yeah, it does. Watching Rodgers throw that touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson in the preseason was like insane. It was such a beautiful play. And I think and I don't know. I'm excited to see what Deshaun does, but all right. Well, League, that is the preseason rankings.
Who do we think's gonna win the league?
I will put it up between me and Kelso. I think that's going to be a fight for the ages. But it all depends on. I think right now I think me and Kelso are in the top tier.
I'm gonna give a shout out. I think I'm gonna give Luke a chance this year. He
Very much
really wants to be good this year, and he's been putting in the hard work of fantasy football, and I think Luke's gonna win.
I do think Luke definitely has a chance, like for sure.
Was Luke the team with Jalen Waddle? Who was that?
Yeah, it's
That's
Enorma. Team Enorma.
Sam's team
Enorma.
is
Sam,
Jalen
yeah.
Waddle.
Sam seems solid too.
I like Sam's team a lot. I would say Sam's a dark horse for it, but if I had to pick today, barring like an insane trade, I would probably pick Kelso.
Yeah, Kelso's team is scary, man. He literally is one Brock Purdy away from just total annihilation.
That's very true.
So, all right. Well, guys, thank you for hopping on this call. League mates, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hit me up. Me and Nick are really excited to keep doing this for the rest of the year. Hopefully, more life updates, more fun, more fellowship. So, do you guys have any closing notes, thoughts?
No, I'm excited for the league. Live long and prosper.
I will say nobody make a trade with Ben, because if nobody trades with him,
man. I don't know about you guys, but that butthole comment made
Is that a
me
calendar
so
you really want though?
uncomfortable.
Are you sure you want Ben to lose?
Like thinking
You're getting a
about
copy of it, Shar. Are you sure that's what you want?
Ben's balloon knot being in my kitchen, literally
Ew.
makes me cringe so hard.
The fact that you called it a balloon knot makes me want to throw up. It's disgusting. All right,
Yeah.
gents. Thanks for hopping on this call.
Yep.
We'll see you guys next week.
Yep. See you, boys.
See you guys.
See you, KJ.